Let's interview Mr. Jones real quick. He doesn't prefer any of this. He gonna do it today. Okay. So what's it like working together?
It's great.
Those are facts.
Mm-hmm.
But how has it changed?
How has it changed?
Like over, because it's been how many years that we've been working together?
Since January 2019.
Is that right?
5 years. 5 years.
Yeah, that is right. It seems longer. Okay. And how has it been for you?
It has been, it's been a roller coaster.
Tell the truth now.
Not in a bad way, just a roller coaster. I think it's a big adjustment, between one, seeing each other all the time, and then two, more so you understanding that I'm here to help, not take over.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, just kind of like behind the scene eyes, the eyes that you don't have, right? Because you're more in the front for the creative side, and then more showing up for like the social side of things. But I would say outside of that, and then just really identifying when there are true challenges versus assuming all the time that everything will just work out, right? And I think that sometimes we have to make certain adjustments because we can't pray everything away. We can't think that God is just gonna fix everything and we don't do no work, right? And so I think that there are good signs and they're all good signs, but there's signs of challenges, signs of you're okay to do it. There's like just identifying, recognizing and identifying it and activating.
Ooh, and you want to know what I really want to share? Here's the good tea. Let's get, because you all have had my perspective on our ready to wear 2 vlogs ago. So not this one, not the last one, but I want you to go watch the one called The Lessons of Letting Go. Okay, that's the one that you need to go watch in order to understand more about this this conversation. But let's get the president's perspective on ready to wear, and it might just blow your mind. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you a second to get some tea or some wine or whatever it is that you drink. Okay, I'm gonna give you a pause. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you got it. All right. So what did you think, Mr. Jones? From the jump.
I never thought it was a good idea. I never thought it was, I don't think we ever got clear signs that this is the direction we're supposed to go. I think we went through a season, and I think most businesses did as well during COVID, where if you had significant success or increased success, I guess I would use the word, during COVID, you assumed that you could do any and everything would just grow. And so I think we went through a season of where if we can do this, we can do that. If we can do this, we can do that. And I think also a lot of social media gave the perception, other businesses put on a perception as well that this was so easy and that this is the next step to elevate. I look at that a little bit just like we did HSN. We thought HSN was the next step. We thought being in Macy's was the next step. We and then now it's like, okay, let's do this new category for clothing. That's gonna be the next step. And I believe that we didn't do enough work to soft launch the idea to really gain what is it that this will entail. And so I think we went straight out the gate with, okay, we're going to create based on our avatar. And we're going to try to make sure that the tops and the bottoms and everything based on our avatar fits. But again, that's just serving the avatar. That's not serving the American size.
The world.
In the world. So we tried that. But the truth of it is, I think the biggest thing is we could have done things different. I don't think any difference would have made any difference. I just don't think it was for us. And I think we've served the world with accessories, and there's still millions of people who've never heard of the brand, who've never didn't even know an accessory brand like this exists. And so I think, my biggest thing is just because you have success doesn't mean you will be successful in everything. And it doesn't mean you pivot from the one thing. So that's what I gotta say about it. But the sum of it is, it was a mistake. And I think it was a costly mistake. I think it was a very big mistake.
Very
I think
expensive
it was a very
mistake.
confusing mistake.
Yes.
And for other business owners, my honest feedback would be is do the research and stop rushing.
Yeah.
Figure out if you do have a market, if you have a customer for it. You can't just put stuff out there and expect people to purchase it. We spend a lot of time on creativity. We spend a lot of time on designs. We spend a lot of times there's a lot of stuff that we get that we don't even launch. We decide to say no to it because we feel like it's just not the right next step.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But with clothing, there was a time where it was like, let's just take the money and run. Let's go and try it. Mm-hmm. And what I think we seen at the beginning was, okay, it's doing well, we're making a lot of money, but when someone like me on the back end who's looking at the numbers, I was like, this stuff ain't adding up. And so, not sure what it took necessarily, but I think we just got to a point where it was like, something ain't making any sense.
What do you think it took? From your perspective? I've already told my story, but from your perspective, what do you think it took? Because you have been saying this for years.
I'm really big on noticing like the true signs of what you're supposed to be doing. I live and breathe this every day. It's my own belief. I'm not going to tell you that anyone else should believe, but it's my belief that what's for you is easy. Mm-hmm. And it was never easy. It's always been difficult from day one. And
can we pause there and can we define that? That is an answer, but you also went down a road that I want to expound on. Define difficult. You said the things that are for you that will be easy. And then you said this was difficult from day one. Can you just take a second and define difficult?
I would say difficult would be one, designing. Mm-hmm. Right? You had no experience in it. Mm-hmm. We brought on a team that honestly had experience in it, but it wasn't our avatar, right? I think finding the manufacturing companies who can develop it, right? And all the back and forth and them getting it wrong as well. Bringing on, I'm not even kidding you, probably 12 to 15 team members just to do this category, right? And so the stress of a massive amount of employees to do it, the stress of getting it right, the stress of the sampling process being wrong, to just the overall investment of it. And then the back and forth, and then no one's taking full responsibility for the mistakes. We are a company who had no returns. We had to create a returns department just when we decided to launch clothes. Measurements being off, and wanting to, I think in that season too, is like, oh, I want to do New York Fashion Week. And I fought you on that. I was like, we're not ready for New York Fashion Week. We're not even ready for Richmond Fashion Week. So,
you stupid. Thank God. That was protection.
And so I think it's like, stop running to get to the end when you haven't even begun. Mm-hmm. You haven't even started. And it's like running to get to the end to present yourself as I'm ready, and truly you're not ready. Mm-hmm. But by any means necessary, if I promise the world that I'm ready, it's almost like putting out an album. It's like, y'all gonna have to wait. It's gonna be delayed. Mm-hmm. I ain't ready. Mm-mm. And so it's like, take your time before you put everything into one thing. As difficult as it might be, you might not be ready. Mm-hmm.
You sound like my grandfather when you said, take your time. Cole, take your time. Oh, what did it look like? How did you know that I had arrived at the point?
To say you're done with it?
Yeah.
That's really hard because I had arrived at the point 2 years before you.
Right, because you had been there.
I never even started. I just was, arrived, and I don't know if I ever arrived because I never went nowhere with it. My mind is like,
you were consistent.
Yeah, I'm like, here, we're gonna go down this.
Consistent yet supportive.
Yes, and I'm yours. Because I knew you were gonna do it anyway. But there's, I remember the day we had the conversation at the dining room table. I was like, okay, I'm gonna say something for the 1,000th time and see if this, resonates. And I tried every storyline. I tried every way to do it, from dinner to trips. Like, what do I do for you to understand? Like, you gotta let this go.
This was after Milan.
This was after Milan, and your feet was bloody and all that, trying to do all this stuff, and I was just like, how do you? It's like you can't ignore the signs.
No.
And you also can't, you can't allow someone else to tell you what you should do, because a lot of us are heavily influenced by what other people think we should be doing.
And most importantly, in my situation, you also cannot let your lesser version of yourself into the driver's seat to tell you what you should be doing as well. So the place where it's like, I've not done enough, there's more for me to do, I can blow this up bigger, that place, it's really, we think it's a place of like growth and hugeness, but for real, if you really look at the baseline of it, it's a place of inadequacy. So that is the place where you cannot, it's like the negative self-talk, like what I am right now is not enough. So obviously I have to make it bigger, better, bolder. So if you let that person, not just the outside world, but that internal self-talk into the driver's seat, that's also a place that's unsafe.
Yeah, I think about it all the time. I don't 100%. I guess for me, it's because I've been on that situation a long time, saying, hey, it's time to let go, it's time to let go. So when you actually got and made the decision immediately, I don't really know. I don't have an answer for it. I don't know.
Because it was spiritual. Yeah,
I don't know. I prayed about it and all that, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what got you to the point where you finally were like, okay, let's pivot. But even with that pivot, you were still taking that same energy and focus and about to develop something else similar to the clothing category. And I was like, what are we doing again? I was like, we're basically shifting the energy into something else that the customer, again, did not ask for.
Yeah, so just to fill you in, if you did not watch that vlog that I'm referring to, and you have to watch it. But what he's referring to is I made the decision in phases. So I essentially had enough. And maybe it's important for you to know, because you don't know the reason that I was like, I'm done. For me, after Milan, and you know that was a legacy summit, right? The whole conference was like about legacy. And I was thinking about like, typically your legacy that you end up leaving, how you began has clues to what that's gonna be, right? Like it may evolve into something different, but like if it started out as art, it'll be some art related, right? And so this started out as fashion, and I'm thinking like, okay, well, it's all of the fashion, right? But the thing about it for me, I just thought about how I started in them first trade shows, and the joy that I had, and the eye that I had, and the ease that I had. And I was like, I ain't got this ease no more. This ease is eased on down the road. Right? And then I also thought about all that it took, like you said, the team and just the factories, Lord Jesus, and the investment and all of it. It felt like me pushing a boulder up a hill. And in your legacy, you operate in flow. And while things are challenging, they don't feel disjointed. They should never feel disjointed, right? And so for me, I was like, I'm over it. Like I had just reached a wall, of like, this isn't what I want to be ultimately known for. This isn't what, it has always felt incredibly hard, but this feels harder than it should. than it should, right? And then I felt the biggest thing is the creativity. Like my creativity was waning, like just trying to make a thing work when my thing is over here. So I say all that to say, just so that you know, like, I think I just had hit a wall where I'm like, this isn't it. And so when I made the decision, you were shocked. You was like, huh? You know, but that's what happens sometimes, right? You said you was praying, but sometimes people got to hit a wall, like, in order to know when enough is enough.
And you don't have to hit a wall either. Because if you're truly operating in your purpose, or whatever gift God gave you, at the end of the day, it will come easy. You will find peace. You will find joy and happiness. And when you're not, and that's in anything in life, when you're doing something and you're not getting those things, which is what should come natural, then you need to look at your situation.
Right.
So what is it that is causing me not to have those things? Yeah.
Because like you talk about joy in the things that you love. We'll just take Sparkle Party for example. I began to hate it. And it wasn't until when?
You had to put on all the clothes on Sparkle Party?
Yeah.
But what was blocking your creativity, what was blocking your joy and happiness and all of the above was something that just wasn't for you, but you were giving it more than half of whatever you would give anything else. It had took over. And I'd also think that it blocked your creativity. You weren't given the gift of that. Anytime we can do a road trip and you can come up with 3 collections just from inspiration from a road trip, just going through the mountains, and it's easy. It means you're operating in your purpose and you're operating in your gift. And what's for you can't be duplicated.
No.
And I think we so often try to duplicate what we see others doing, but that's their gift. So you can try it. You just gonna waste your time.
Yeah.
So it's like, just focus on, like, I could say, okay, I'm gonna come help you design. Remember one day I downloaded Canva and I started putting little stuff together and just writing it on paper and just coming up with my own way of doing it. And you go, oh, that's cute. You know,
like that's not what we do.
Yeah, but my gift and my purpose and what brings me joy is, one, to support you, but it's to support the team and support the business and the finances, and I'm all on the back end. Like, that's where I find joy, in figuring out the numbers, making sure that we are managing this thing right. Like, there's no third party person telling me what to do. I'm responsible to make sure the lights stay on, and responsible to make sure we continue to serve our customers and continue to invest, right? And so now that you're back focusing on your main gift and what your purpose is and how you built the brand and why people fell in love with the brand, it's been massive. You know, a massive shift of energy, a massive shift of happiness. I think the entire team, our customers.
Well, they don't
everyone.
know. I mean, yeah, it's good. Okay, so 2 things. The customer doesn't know what's coming.
No.
Yeah.
It's the best I've seen you do.
Yeah, and the joy of, you touched on the happiness and the joy. That just comes when you're in your flow. And like you touched on, it's very, very easy. But you're saying all of these things from a very futuristic place. These customers don't know, and they haven't seen it yet. So get ready and get excited. Get ready and get excited, because what is on the site doesn't represent the conversation that we're having. I'll just say that, and I'll leave it at that.
I think I'll sum it up too, though. Like, my biggest thing, and I know we talk about it a lot, and the people who actually know me know I talk about it a lot, but is learning how to be happy, learning how to be happy for yourself, learning how to make yourself happy, not anybody else, and that happiness is not attached to things that bring no value, but also making sure that what's for you is for you, and being okay with whatever it is, that's it. And not seeking all of these other things to try to justify and this could be for a business owner, but to justify why, I mean, people got 17 businesses, but I mean, can you make 17 businesses successful? I seriously doubt it.
I mean, Warren Buffett did.
Yeah. But
you talking about.
But we also can't expect just because one person can do it that you can do it. But find what is it that you're great at and stick to it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You're talking about being overly inspired by other brands, and ultimately my goal, especially with being a part of the Tory Burch Foundation, that's where like a lot of the inspiration came from to become a lifestyle brand. And at one point I was like, I want to be the Black Tory Burch. I was like, now in that season, that was the slogan. But from where I sit now and having gone through it, it's like, no, you are the Sassy Jones, right? Shut up, sit down, and work, right? So the same way that I had that over inspiration, I think other brands can have as well, when they look at us. So it's so important for you to operate in your lane, in your gift, because I think you waste a lot of time trying to experiment and tinker with things that don't serve you.
Yeah, but the idea you came up with, this was right before we had the boys. You had that conversation with me, what you wanted to do and like to get on the road and sell accessories.
Well, tell them the conversation.
What, when I came in the house? So.
What year was this?
This would have been 2014.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, sounds right.
This has been 2014. He was like, hey, I'm ready to have kids and I want to start a business. So we came up with the name of the business. It didn't take too long for you to have kids or get pregnant. Everything happened very fast. And that was just the beginning to, not even a dream, it was the beginning to an idea.
It was only an idea.
We never knew what it would do, but it was like, let's go. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, where are you gonna get your money from to start? So we sold the car. I think it was like $3,000 we had. $3,200. And you invested that and went up down the East Coast. Had some good events, not so good events. Sleepless nights, emotional breakdowns, and all of the above.
Running off the side of the road.
Running off the side of the road, flat tires, running out of gas. No, not flat tire, running out of gas.
Ran out of gas.
I did one or two. I was like, you can have it. I'll stay with my, my corporate job. And
it's a lot of work.
Things happened really, really, really fast. Met some amazing employees on the way.
Shout out to the vendors.
Yeah.
The vendor world. I see you.
Had a big hiccup, with a customer, and that was the beginning. That one hiccup from that customer was the beginning to the doors opening of what you actually were capable of doing, not even knowing you had it in you, which was creation and being creative. And I take a step back because I talk to my mom about this all the time when we're together, and just friends. This was never a dream for us. This was never, oh, well, one day I want to do this. No. I was okay with my job. It had good benefits, got paid really good money, and we were able to live normal. Well, I can say normal, live great. But God had a different plan. So, and I know I brought this up to you a lot too. I was like, the plan he gave you and the success he gave you with it, derailing off into what you think you should be doing versus what you know you should be doing, you can't complain when things are not at a high. You did it to yourself. Because no one just gets an opportunity like this and have that much impact in the world, right? In such a short period of time, if you were not operating in your everything.
Yeah.
But as soon as you try to, well, I can say try to, but as soon as you start feeling like, okay, if this person or that person can do it, maybe I should dabble in that a little bit. And we start dabbling into areas of things that are just they're not for you. Like, why are you over here? I think I told you this one time before, and not that you can't do it, but I was like, what was it? Was it a podcast? You said you were starting on something one time?
Yeah, I got 3 episodes
You
out.
came in here, and I was like, I think I just went to bed. I was like, Because I said the next thing you're gonna start landscaping a tree company. And I said, and then it started going there like every day it was something new. It was like, oh, I'm gonna do this today. I'm like, okay.
No, but do you see the importance of being a kite and also needing a string? Okay, so if you're a kite, put up a number 1 in the comments. If you're a string, put up a number 2 in the comments.
No, that's a hot air balloon. That's not no kite. And I can't hold that string. I'm on the bottom of it.
No, you need a whole gurney. That's not
no kite.
Listen, but it is true. That isn't why the partnership works. But each person has to bend. Each person has to be malleable and flexible and be open, because I am the visionary and he is the integrator. And, it's important for me, especially more so now than ever, to hear him and listen and, and be receptive and open and non-defiant, right? And it's important for him as an integrator who is rigid and more numbers-based than me, to also be open to ideas and new possibilities, and to not have a phobia of new information or new ideas. So it's really, it's a song and a dance. It's an art and a science. So you're amazing, homie. I know. You should know as well. I cannot do what I do without you. Yeah.
So what's one piece of good advice that you've learned from me over the years in business together?
There's a lot. You want me to pick like the best?
Pick some of the best.
Okay, I can do some. All right, I think the first is what you said. He is always saying, what's for you is easy. And I'm like, in my logical mind, I'm like, no, but I believe in working hard and this won't easy. But I know what he means. What is for you is for you. I think that was a good one. You refer to me a lot as a genius, and I don't think that you know how often you do. So, no.
Oh, Lord. All right, moving on.
So thank you for that. Let me see. Oh, you are incredibly protective of my energy. Yeah, like he is the first one to be like, cut the bitch off. She fucking with you. You too kind-hearted. She dragging you, like, cut her off, right? And I'm like, no, but I'm gonna train her. I'm a leader. I'm gonna train her. I'm gonna do it. And you're like, you are worth too much to be wasting your time on this shit. So thank you for that. And you are always reminding me to stay in my boundary bubble, in my peace bubble. And I need that, because I'm a giver. And I'll be the bled out with folks poking holes and straws in me, right? But today, I've been through so much. Today, I can confidently say that I am stronger in part because of you. So, I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah.
If we one day will take a step back and look, who would have ever thought, like, let's be real, that over the course of years, you can make over $100 million selling costume jewelry. But not just any jewelry that has meanings. And they come from you, not from anybody else, but it's like God has used you to deliver this to, one, inspire, lift confidence, like do things that the world never had before, create things that the world never had before, I guess is the right word to say it, and continue to do that and find joy, right? The compliments, the sisterships, the just the overall outlook of what the brand has been able to do and what you've been able to do. Like, the more we can stay away from focusing on, let me try it because someone else did it, the quicker you can get to success because you're working from the inside of what it is that you already got to do. If that's being a doctor, a lawyer, an entrepreneur, just an amazing mother, whatever it might be, right? Just focus on that. Everything else just follows. Again, this was not our dream. It's like, not that you can't have a dream, but it's like, but is your dream truly your dream? Or is it just something that you want to do because you've seen somebody else do it? No. And I look at some of the most successful people, and I know I always talk about who, like Tyler Perry, right? And his story. I don't know all his stories, I don't know him. But just what we've gotten to know, and I know we went to one of his plays way back in the day when we met, right? Where it was like, I think at the Hampton Coliseum. I don't think he was even there. I think it was just the other.
Yeah, it was just a play.
Yeah, just a play. And just watching the time it takes, and it takes a long time to get to where you want to go. But the difference with him is no matter if you showed up, based on what I've learned, people wouldn't show up to the plays, you know, nobody in the audience, he could have been gave up, but he's still doing those plays. He's still operating in his same gift.
And is.
He's not out here as a music producer.
No. He
out here making up podcasts and opening car dealerships, and he's focusing on his one thing that he's great at. Same thing with Oprah. She's still sitting in her garden doing interviews.
Yes.
And she ain't got to do it. But it's her gift.
Yeah, it's like, I feel you on that, because I think watching social media, we do become overly inspired by the everythings. You know, like you got this going on, and this going on, and this going on, and that is beautiful. Being omnipresent and being multifaceted, we all are, it's beautiful. But it usually comes down to one thing that brings you the most joy. And that usually if you put all of your energy in that, it could probably outperform all of the other shit, like in terms of revenue. It could outperform all of the other things that you may have interest or hobby, you may be a hobbyist in. But the one thing that is your God-given one thing, you know, it's really important to find that. And that's the thing that's gonna take off.
But your biggest reward will not be financial.
No, it never is.
When you can operate in your gift and you can wake up every morning with a smile on your face and go out and serve the world in whatever way it looks like, it will never be financial joy. That doesn't come. But the joy you get from being able to do what you can do, God will reward you in so many ways unexpectedly that you won't think about money. You won't think about your house or car or whatever you drive.
No.
It's like the reward is so much more bigger than that. And we've accomplished, and I thank God every day, we've accomplished a lot over the years in a short period of time. But and I pull up to this house every day, and I just give you like I just see a house. But this same white house we live in, I drew when I was like 6-7 years old. My mom still has it, and I always and at a young age, I was shown what it is that I would have, not even realizing what I was doing was just drawing out my future. Didn't know how I was gonna get there. I never even talked to you about it, right? Until we went to the table to design it. And I was like, I drew this for you. Exactly the way it's built. And so just being true to yourself, going back to your roots, going back to what it is that you've been shown, stay on that path. Stop trying to go on someone else's path. Stay on the path that was already laid out for you. And there's no confusion. Everyone knows what their path is. They just choose not to go down it. So when you go down that path, it will be easy. It'll be work, but it's not hard work. It's work.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's my 2 cents.
You're so special and kind and sweet and smart.
I try to be. I protect my energy.
Is he not amazing? He's amazing.